In this video, we will see how to blur your video background in 3 different ways using Wondershare Filmora 11 beta. With Filmora 11 beta, you can blur backgrounds in your videos in several ways. Let's see the fastest way to blur your video background using our latest effects AI portrait. Import media to timeline 1 and timeline 3. Drag and drop the same video footage to timeline 1 and timeline 3. Cut, trim or delete as needed. Add human segmentation effect to timeline 3 to remove background. Go to effects, AI portrait, and you will see all the AI portrait effects here. Drag the human segmentation effect and place it on your clip in the timeline 3. Add a blurry effect on timeline 2. Double click on the effect in the timeline 2 to adjust the edge, thickness, and feather if needed. Preview and adjust. Double click on the effect on timeline 2 to adjust the spec to the way you like it. Filmora 11 beta features 2 tilt effects, tilt shift circle and tilt shift linear, which allows you to highlight people in the video, blur, and conceal the video background. Here, I will select the tilt shift circle and tilt shift linear effects and drop them to the track one after the other above the video. Now, you can adjust the size, position, and intensity of the tilt shift circle and tilt shift linear effects. background is blurred and the people are highlighted. Now it's your turn to download the Filmora 11 beta video editor and try it yourself. Another way to blur your background is during your shoot with your camera, DSLR or a smartphone. That is by adjusting aperture, depth of field and f-stops. But first let us know these terms in detail. Aperture refers to the hole in your lens which allows light into your camera. A narrow aperture lets in less light, and a wide aperture lets in more. The wider your aperture is, the shallower your depth of field will be. Widening your aperture also helps your camera perform better in low light situations. Widening your aperture too much under the wrong circumstances can let in too much light and result in your footage being overexposed. Depth of field is the area of your image that is in focus. If you have a large depth of field, then objects close to and far away from your camera will all be in focus. Only a select area will be focused and the rest will be blurred if you have a shallow depth of field. F-stops are the measurement of an aperture's width. The higher your f-stop, the narrower your aperture will be. To create a blurred background or a bokeh effect, you need a wide aperture and thus a small f-stop. F-stops are written like f1.4. You need an f-stop of less than f4 to blur your background and less than f2.8 for bokeh. Place your subject. In the case of a vlog, your subject is probably yourself in a shallow depth of field and they will remain sharply in focus while everything behind them is blurred. If the subject is yourself, you might need a helper to either operate your camera or stand in for you while you set up your camera. You will need to be able to check that the place you plan to stand or sit is in focus. To get a shallow depth of field, make sure your aperture is wide. Do this by setting a low f-stop. Ideally, your f-stop will be 2.8 or lower, but if your camera cannot go that low, then f3 or f4 can also work. Creating a bokeh effect is mostly the same, except that it works best when your subject depth of field is very close to the camera and you have a light source off in the background. Zoom lenses do not usually have wide enough apertures to create bokeh backgrounds.
Thank you.